Welcome to the Daily Gerry Anderson podcast, which today sees a sea change in the behaviour of the presenter. The season of goodwill towards all men seems to have temporarily got to the presenter, who has started to make some uncharacteristically benign noises. Now, I want to ask you, have you noticed a change in me in this past day or two?
Yes.
Yeah.
You seen it, Janet?
There's a great falseness about you.
I was going to say serenity.
Janice is your colour.
What?
Is it a different colour?
He's quite tan. Was he
Pink.
away? He's very tan.
Janice is where you sprayed.
No, I've left those days behind me.
Oh.
There was a time, and
Yeah, you see, you're right. Because you're wearing a white T-shirt, a white top, and it's open right down to your...
navel.
Well...
my naval outfitters.
So you must have got a wee... You must be...
No.
You were at yourself last night. You know what I mean? You were...
I haven't done that for years. Listen, one of the things that's important now, you're looking at me, and I know what you're thinking. Janet's looking at me and saying, look at how young he looks. Isn't that what you're thinking, Janet? And you're probably thinking, how have I achieved this in so short a time? Because the last time Janet saw me was before the holidays, I think, wasn't it? Janet's been off for a week. And she deserves it.
Do you see there's fear now about the injections?
Oh, that doesn't affect me in any way. The Botox?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't affect me in any way, because I have never gone down that road.
Well.
And I know you've been tempted, but you're afraid your eyebrow might separate itself. See, what happens, what would you do if you get Botox? See, what happens is one eyebrow stays up and the other one goes down. You're like a kind of a ski slope.
Why?
Well, it's to do with the rigidity of the facial muscles. See, what happens is if you get an injection of Botox, you may think to yourself, why does he know so much about this? But I study things, you know. I look at things and I read things for the benefit of this program, so I'm able to talk about them when the subject comes up. If you get a little Botox injection in your forehead, right?
Right.
You don't necessarily get the same amount of Botox all over the entire span of your forehead, and of course your span of your forehead is much greater than most. You see, what happens is that you would get an injection up there, which would cause your muscles to contract a little, thereby
Pulling the eyebrow up?
Pulling the eyebrow up a little.
But I never had a high eyebrow.
No, but you only have one eyebrow.
But it was never very high.
I know, but what I'm saying is if you get that done, it would maybe pull part of your eyebrow up and leave the other part the way it is. You know, if you have a monobrow. But see, that would look like a ski slope.
Right.
I hope you don't think I'm laughing
Looked
at your
like
eyebrow.
Shipley Street in Derry.
See, people don't realise the Shipley Street is a slippery street to slide upon.
Yeah.
It's one of the steepest streets in Europe, actually. And it's almost perpendicular. And in many ways...
It's the steepest commercial street in Europe.
It is indeed. And many of the muscular legs that you see around Derry Stoke Londonderry are directly attributable to trekking up and down that street. I myself went up a number of times because that's the way I used to go to the Dole. The presenter has realised that this life is not a rehearsal, but actually the real thing. His staff have pounced on this as a sign that he may be weakening and try to use it to get him to buy them food and drink. I'm going to drag every moment out of my life because I don't have long left, and I have longer than you, I know.
Well, here.
Because your heart will get you.
Why don't you start off just by saying sorry for the past and take Janet and Emma.
And you.
Well, you can leave me if you want. Take the girls out for a meal this weekend to make up for what you didn't do this last year.
No, I can't go down that road.
Huh?
I can't go down that road.
Why don't you do that?
No, I'm not doing it because it's a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you've won. No, I'm not going to do it, no, because the opposition I've had from the staff in this programme from day one has been spectacular. And I don't want to lose the momentum. Because if I break down and buy you food and drink...
No, leave me out of it.
No, you'd be like a spider eating its young. You'd turn on me because you'd realise that
See,
I'm
it's
weak.
no excuse. He's not getting that. I don't want anything from you.
No, but see, I couldn't bring the staff out and leave you behind.
But I'm refusing your offer, so it's all right.
There is no offer. A person is... Now, let's start the programme. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the programme. It shall continue like this until 12 o'clock, and then someone else will come on. The number to ring if you want to contact this programme, and indeed many of you do, on a regular basis, for different reasons. 0845...
I couldn't send him that.
What?
No. What?
A message has come in?
I've shown it to Janet.
What does it say?
No,
Go on,
No,
read it.
No.
I can take it.
No.
Read it.
No.
Janet, read that letter.
No, Janet, above all, couldn't read it.
Is it dirty?
Yes, it's
That's
filthy.
okay. Well, read it then.
No.
The number to ring is 08... How dirty is it? On a scale of 1 to 10?
But it's accurate. That's
On a scale of... On a filth scale from 1 to 10, what is it, 8?
I would say a very comfortable 8, yeah.
Maybe verging on a 9?
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. Let me know if you get a 10. I want to bring it home. It has been noted on the highest level that Stephen Nolan pays scant attention to the Radio Times. The Stephen Nolan show starts at 9 a.m. It is over at 10:30. End of story. Well, no.
I was wondering if you could explain why it is, if you listen to radio, TV, or anything broadcasting, the programmes are supposed to finish at a certain time and somebody else starts at a certain time. They always are exactly on time, unless the one.
Yeah, well, that's why we have a Radio Times, and indeed, in
that's
terms
why.
of...
But why is it the Nolan show always runs over 1, 2, 3 minutes into your programme? It's the only programme I know that runs over onto somebody else. Any other station, any other broadcasting thing that you listen to is always exactly on time, unless he has to interrupt and have somebody else's programme every day.
Yes, and in my experience as a broadcaster, which has been, well, broad, I've never come across a situation like that. But because I'm a new person now, and because I no longer have that fire of ambition that fires Nolan, I have to say that there's only one reason why he lapses over into my programme for about maybe 2-3 minutes. That's because he's a big, fat, egomaniacal lump of bacon. That's why he does it.
And another reason is because you let him away with it.
I will not object to a man doing that because it's not comely. It's not becoming of me to object because that would seem that I would be the same as him. I just want to expose him for what he is. If he had his way, he'd be on here until 11.
Maybe even 12.
No, he wants to be on all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, you sound very... He sounds very like somebody.
Yeah, he does. Let
He
him
sounds
talk
like-
again.
Has he been probed by aliens recently?
That's who he sounds like.
I think he does. Have you been probed by aliens recently?
No.
Oh, so you're not the person we think you are then. He sounds like fancy.
He's fancy.
Are you fancy?
No, definitely not, no.
You sound like fancy. It sounds like fancy. It sounds like fancy. It speaks like fancy. Therefore, it must be fancy. But it may not be fancy.
Definitely not.
You're not fancy.
No.
Well, you see, I can't explain that. You see, isn't it as well I'm tolerant? Can you imagine doing that to Wendy?
No,
Wendy would scratch you with her nails.
There, no.
But you see, I'm tolerant because, I've been there and done that. And I realise he's just foolish. So I just let him go, because these people will learn eventually that it doesn't matter.
I think so.
Anyway, does it upset you?
Well, it's just that I don't listen to him, and whenever you switch over at 10:30 to hear this running spell going on, people shouting down the phone 3 or 4 at the one time, which is not really needed in this country, I don't think.
That's true, because you have to remember that all over Northern Ireland, people have been saying at 10:30, oh, we need another 3 minutes of Andrew Marr. Please, another 3 minutes. And Nolan quite rightly granted them that privilege.
I don't know what he does, but he gets people on there, and maybe he gets 2 or 3 on the phone at one time, and they're all shouting at other, and he must be asleep or something. He doesn't seem to interfere in any way. It just keeps going on. A real hoo-ha, idiots shouting at each other down the phone. I don't think...
Yeah, but he is there to make the idiots shout at one another, and then he just sits there and says nothing, and then wait until they get all tired, and then he takes all the money and goes home. It often happens that the presenter's background as a qualified social anthropologist breaks through, especially when the programme calls for an explanation of some aspects of the human condition. The presenter often then senses that he is wasting his time.
I enjoyed the wind and the rain last night.
That's a very primitive part of you that kicked in last night. Many, many years ago, when man was not as sophisticated as he is today, when he climbed down from the trees and decided to live in caves, and in mortal fear of the saber-toothed tiger, which wasn't around at the time, but we'll say that anyway, and the various wolverines and all kinds of wildlife that was outside threatening him. Sometimes a man would lay in a cave at night and hear the wind whistle and know that the weather was so bad that not even the predators were out. And this is one of the reasons why a person feels a sense of safeness when the wind is bad, because he knows that he's safe, because nothing is going to come and take him away and eat him. See, that's what you thought. You don't realise that.
I didn't.
You realise that?
No, I thought about the wheelie bin.
That it might topple.
Aye. I thought all those wheelie bins, will be, the whole road will be an awful mess in the morning. And then I thought the birds are coming and they'll drag things up and down the street and it's going to be awful. And my wife and I will have to go out and tidy up everything and put
Why
all
don't you just tidy up your own wheelie bin? Leave the other people's wheelie bins
you have to
alone.
do your neighbours as well.
But that's weather like that's like a bonanza for the birds. The birds love that. Look at all the chips they'll be eating. Look at all the pieces of McDonald's.
They were all toppled this morning, though they're empty. They were toppled, so I fixed them all up and put them in a nice neat line in our street.
You're the only voluntary member of the council. that's working today. And do you know what I think? I think you should be given the recognition that you deserve. I think you should be given an OBE.
I don't like them scattered all willy-nilly. I like them in a nice, neat line.
I'm going to lobby the Queen for you. But sometimes the facade drops and the evil resurfaces. I stopped Pamela Ballantyne coming out of a newsagent with a copy of Woman's Own Busts under her arm and asked how Playboy and jet-setter Frank Mitchell had got over the Christmas holidays. "Ah, you know Frank," laughed Pamela. "Nothing bothers him. We call him Mr. Coolback in UTV. We were joined by Tara Mills, who was taking Jim Fitzpatrick for a walk. Whilst Jim sniffed a lamppost, blonde Tara wiped her nose with a perfumed tissue and said, "I don't know why, but every time I see Frank Mitchell, I think of Mr. Bojangles. I want to dance." "Funny you should say that," said Paul Clark, with a pound of special mint sticking out of his pocket. "Every time I see Frank Mitchell, I think of Mr. Bowlegs. I want to laugh." "Oh, you're awful, Paul," giggled Tara. "Isn't he awful, Pamela?" "Don't be awful, Paul," said Pamela. "I am awful, Pamela," said Paul. "Frank, after all, is our colleague." "Village Egypt," laughed Paul. I left him bent over laughing. I don't see anything funny about pouring scorn and distasteful derision on a national treasure, which is what Frank is. People don't understand how much people love Frank. I love Frank. I love Frank when he doesn't tell you the weather.
No, I love it when he tells you he's going to tell you the place twice. I'll name that place, and then he tells you I'll name that place. He tells you twice he's going to name it.
Yeah, well, see, Hugo does that. Hugo says everything twice. "Hello, hello. How you doing? How you doing? Who's that old fella? Who's that old fella? Is that your husband? Is that your husband? What age is he? What age is he? 90, 90. You may as well keep him now. You may as well keep him now. The phones are jammed."
You're hateful. Now you've gone back to your old
I
ways.
see that.
You've gone back to old bad Gerry.
5 minutes.
Old bad boy.
Old bad boy.
Yeah.
Good luck, good luck, good luck, good luck, good luck. God bless, God bless, God bless, good luck, good luck, God bless, God bless, good luck, good luck, good luck.
Who's that?
Digger.
Is that Paul Casey?
JCB, dogger, digger. I'm back. The real me is back. Who do you think it is?
I love that intro.
I know, that's why I'm not letting you hear it.
I know.
Thank you for listening. Goodbye.